sure have.
Hey, everybody, we're back. It is Let's Talk Phys Ed this evening. This is our Halloween version of Let's Talk Phys Ed. Super excited to be here again this evening, joined by my buddy Tanner Rose. I am Jason Steele. I'm your host of Let's Talk Phys Ed. Tanner, how are you today?
Hey, I am extra excited. I love me some Halloween. So what's your outfit here? Tell me about your hair.
Honestly, I had a dog mask that I was going to wear, but I couldn't see anything out of it. And so last minute, I had to grab my daughter's pink wig for some kind of girl show. I have no idea where it comes from. So how about yours? What is that thing?
Oh, I'm Jorge Rodriguez inspired. He said he was going to be a luchador. So I got my I'm ready to go.
Are those tattoos real or are those the sleeve?
No, I painted them. No, they're real. So, yeah, so I'm excited. And I see that our guest Artie here, he's got his Halloween costume on, his I Tweet PE shirt.
You know, look at this.
Big sponsor.
Look.
He's helping to win the costume contest. Oh, check that out, I Tweet PE. If you want to win a Halloween costume contest, you got to go to itweetpe.org, buy your shirt. 100% of the proceeds go to schools that suffered some type of a disaster. It's a great organization. So get yours. Already got his.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I think that Artie may have been the first customer of iTweetPE, to be honest, because iTweetPE, the hashtag iTweetPE originally was kind of Artie's idea. So when I was kind of throwing the idea around of starting the company, I came up with iTweetPE, and in talking with a few people, they said, well, Artie Kamiya, he kind of uses that hashtag, so you might want to talk to him about that. So talked to him through Twitter about that, and he said, yep, call me. And spent about 20 minutes talking to Artie, and he gave me his blessing to go ahead and use it. And so that's how iTweetPE started. And then boom, here we go. He's got one on. That's our official sponsor of Let's Talk Phys Ed. And of course, we're joined by the man, the myth, the legend. Like I've told everybody, he's the guy, Artie Kamiya. Artie, how are you?
I am doing great. How are you doing?
I'm
You're
doing
looking
well.
good. I like your hair.
Thank you. It's it's a lifestyle. It's not necessarily a fashion choice. I mean, you got to be prepared for this. So
Yeah, we got to be prepared, I suppose.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What do you do?
Sure. So I am, my wife and I and family live in Durham, North Carolina. I'm a former elementary PE teacher. Did that for about 4 or 5 years, and then I was booted down, given a demotion into administration, where I worked with the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction as a physical education consultant. And then later on in my career, I worked with Wake County Schools as a health and PE director. And so I've been blessed. I mean, my entire career has been with health and physical education teachers, and it's been great.
That's awesome. And go ahead.
That's it. I've enjoyed it.
That's awesome. And super influential, which, obviously we're going to get into a few of the things that you do for the physical education world. But for me personally, been very influential in that, like we talked about at the beginning, the iTweetPE hashtag idea. And then, I've had the opportunity to meet you. We met in Fargo at the ND Shape conference last summer. And unbeknownst to me, you were prepared to use me in your keynote, and I was not ready for it. Actually,
I just asked you to stand up.
Yeah, but in front of 150 people when I wasn't ready, kind of caught me off guard. But we made it through it.
You did well.
I did okay. I wouldn't say
you
well.
did well. I mean, when you share from your heart, it's got to come off as being genuine and truthful, which you were.
And I was,
Yeah.
but it did catch me off guard. So, we still have to have a talk about that, but that's okay. That's for a different time. There's hair in my face. Like I said, this is the lifestyle. But very influential to me. And I took an activity from one of your sessions called Zoom. And I don't know if anybody else has ever seen that, but absolute pure genius when you implement your phone and you pretend like you're talking to the Guinness Book of World Records and these students are about to break a world record. So amazing, so funny, and so hilarious. So thank you for that personally.
You're welcome.
That sounds like an awesome activity. Maybe Tuesday I throw that in.
Oh, yeah, give me a call. It is super cool.
That's awesome. So, hey, I know that you are the National Physical Education Sport Institute, like you're the head of that, right?
Yes,
so,
sir.
yeah, and with that, that's like largely recognized as the place to be in the summer. And Jason and I, we're probably going to be in Asheville, but our realistic bucket list is like, it's gotta be Asheville. We got to get there. Anyway, our problem is we don't know how we're going to get there and have 3 or 4 days off with our families. So my wife's over there sitting there kind of listening, and I'm sure Allie, his wife, is somewhere listening too.
Right on the other side of that door.
All right, what's the sales pitch? What are we going to have to say to our wives to get us to be able to get out for 4 days?
Well, first of all you need to do is gaggle. All you need to do is gaggle or Google Asheville, North Carolina, and it comes up. I mean, it is a phenomenal venue. Asheville is just very eclectic, a lot of art, a lot of music. It's just a fun place to be. It's absolutely one of a kind place, and we have the entire run of the University of North Carolina Asheville, their McKimmon Center, which is their basketball stadium. So if you imagine, we're doing a keynote on the basketball arena floor. We have access to that entire concourse, the gyms, the breakout, and people really, really enjoy it. And we've been fortunate to get all of the well-recognized folks on Twitter, Voxer, Facebook. I mean, it's just amazing. That's all I can say.
Well, I see the list of people that are there in the summer that are tweeting about it, and I'm just, I die. I have to turn my phone off for 2 or 3 days because I want to be there and I'm not.
That's how I am. It's literally like last year during the national convention in Nashville, and then during the summer, during your during your conference, I get super mad turning on Twitter because I see everybody that is there and meeting each other and talking with each other face to face, and it's like bittersweet, because it's super awesome stuff that they're sharing, but I'm not there, so I'm super jealous. So
well, but it's not I keep on telling people, you need to go, number one, to your state conference, because that's where you're going to connect and network. And then if you happen to have additional money set aside, then go to the Shape America conference or come to our conference in Asheville. You're going to get the same type of feel, the dedication and commitment. It's no different from going to Iowa, Apherd, or Shape, North Dakota Shape. The people that are there are phenomenal. And if you can do that and rub shoulders and get to know each other at a deeper level, that's the most important thing. Coming to Asheville would be nice, but it's not the most important thing.
Still on the bucket list, though.
Yeah, we need to get there.
Still on the bucket list. So next question. We always like to make our guests just squirm just a little bit and feel a little uncomfortable because remember this, not many people watch this. It's a super low income show. Our sponsors don't give us much money. Super laid back. But we like to make our guests squirm a little bit. So your next question, let's pretend that Tanner and I, we're able to make it to Asheville.
Yeah.
And
Hopefully.
during Joey Fife's or Captain Pete's keynote, there are 2 seats left. There's 1 seat up front. Yeah. And there's 1 seat in back, and you have to put one of us in each spot. Who gets to sit up front, and who gets to sit in back behind all of the tall people.
Well, it totally depends. I mean, you might, Tanner, I don't know you that well. You might want to sit in back because you have the whole view of the audience. And Jason,
I need to see. I never see.
Don't try to buy your way into this one.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, when I don't personally. I don't like sitting up front personally. I'd rather sit in the back so I could see all the people in the audience. But if I had to choose, I'd have to choose Tanner.
Tanner's sitting in back or Tanner's sitting in front?
The front.
Right.
Because he's like all the way blind and he has to, or what?
I'm just thinking that you, Jason, that you can have fun wherever you are.
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
no, I know.
I know. Clearly,
so
I can't.
I'm thinking Tanner probably would appreciate it. Just kind of be a front.
Yeah. I think I would. Jason, it's okay to have you because you probably have to go to the bathroom like 12 times there. So you just have to get up and leave.
What's that have to do with anything?
Well, if you're getting up in front,
if you're in the back, you get a quick getaway.
Yeah,
it's better.
I'm disappointed.
Jump on the breakout session slots.
There was our little competition here. This is kind of our little friendly competition, and we always make our guests squirm a little bit with that. But it's always, well, who are they going to pick? Like it's a competition between Tanner and I. And up until that point, Artie, I had 2 in a row. I had won 2 of those contests, so I was going for the streak there. You know what? I'll take.
Sorry to break it.
That's fine. More than likely, I'm in the back because I was the last one there. Because out in the hallway, everybody wanted to talk to me.
Probably getting your autograph.
Yeah, I was signing autographs. There was only one spot left, and it was the one in the back.
That makes sense. All right, totally. Makes sense. Justified. So hey, Artie, when my mom and dad, when it was Halloween time, I never asked them for anything, and so we had like a werewolf mask, and we had like these green, really hot rubber Frankenstein blood.
Right.
It was like whatever one of my brothers and sisters got to the basement and found it first. That's what we were for Halloween. It was like for 4 or 5 years, I was Frankenstein werewolf man. But what was your Halloween like when you were a kid?
My favorite costume was a hobo. We did not have a lot of money. My father was a gardener. I'm Japanese. He's Japanese. Back in the 40s and 50s, that's what you did. He immigrated from Japan, from Hawaii, and first job he got was a gardening route, and it was just easy to be a hobo. Didn't take a lot of makeup. It was just easy to do, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was okay.
Yeah, hey, kind of same boat for me. I played hockey when I was younger and played baseball when I was younger, so I had 2 choices for Halloween. I either wore my hockey equipment and I was a hockey player, or I wore my baseball stuff and I was a baseball player. So there was no such thing as going and buying masks and costumes and whatever. We used our imagination, and we came up with something. So we talked about this a little bit. You kind of put me on the spot when we were in Fargo last summer, but
I'll stand up and make an announcement.
I did, but, which is fine. I'm okay with it. Are you sure with it now? The public speaking thing has gotten better, probably because of this show, or maybe because I've presented a couple times. But so your whole stance for your keynote was about social media and kind of how it plays such an important role. Can you talk about how social media has changed physical education and for the better since you started?
I think social media, first of all, I still think it's underutilized. And I believe that probably less than 10% of the health and PE teachers that are practicing actually teaching health and physical education use Twitter and Facebook and Voxer, which is a shame. I don't know why our millennials don't pick up on it. I mean, it's the natural media of choice, but they don't want to, I don't know, they don't want to network in that way, which I find really odd. But in any case, the most brilliant, respectful, and mindful physical education folks are on Twitter. Hands down, without a doubt.
100%.
And if you're not on Twitter, you're going to shortchange your kids. And by shortchanging your kids, you're shortchanging my profession, our profession. And I think it's a shame. I truly believe that if every college and university professor, pedagogy, made it mandatory to get on Voxer and Twitter and Facebook and learn, that our profession would grow by leaps and bounds. And I wish if I had a magic wand, that's what I would do. I would say,
I think,
you need to get on Twitter. Yes, sir.
I was going to say, I think that it's starting to happen a little bit more. Jason and I both got contacted by, I want to say it's University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. They were doing a research project. And I know they were contacting some people in all around the United States about professional development through Twitter, specifically for PE.
Yeah.
So maybe they're looking into it more.
I had one from Missouri too, where I gave an interview to a university student, and her professor, that's kind of what they were doing, was teaching them about Twitter and social media and how to use it. But according to the girl that I did the interview for, her professor actually did her doctorate thesis on Twitter, on social media. So yeah, huge resource, 100%.
But we need to have more of those folks, because there aren't enough in higher ed. You would assume that that's what they would do, but it's not true. It really isn't true.
Totally agree.
No, and we only found it just a couple of years ago. Jason and I came into it about the same time, so I cannot imagine how my career would be different had I not found it. So,
I remember.
I'll be 100% honest with you. I would not be here right now.
Yeah. It's I remember doing a presentation in St. Louis. And during that presentation, there were about 200 people there. And I just asked, I said, how many of you have ever heard of Joey Fight? And there was only one person out of the 200 that raised their hands. And that person was Sarah Gitcher-Hartman.
Yeah.
It was Sarah. It was Sarah G.H. out of all those 200 people. And it's a shame. It really is a shame. But like you said, Tanner, more and more folks are picking up on it. And I am very hopeful that within the next 10 years that will dramatically change the climate and the pedagogy and how we teach and why we teach all across the United States. It needs to happen. It really needs to happen. It needs to happen quickly.
Yes.
Right. So you've talked a lot about presenting, and you were named the National Physical Education Administrator of the Year, and I've read that you have presented at over 500 workshops in 40 states.
Right.
So what motivates you to continue being this leader and this constant source of inspiration to physical education all over the world?
I am. There's 4 Ds. There's 4 words that begin with the letter D. I'm disciplined. I have a desire to change. I do not like the status quo. I'm disappointed. The 3rd D for me is I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that we can't do better. And the last D is I'm dissatisfied. I'm just truly dissatisfied. And what we're offering our students. And these are students that really, really need a quality physical education program, and they're not getting it. So those 4 Ds are the reason I continue to be involved in. And next month in November, I'll be 68 years old. In teacher years, I kind of put in my time, but not really. There's so much work to be done, Jason and Tan. And I'm so glad that y'all are doing what it is you're doing. There's so much that needs to be done. And if we don't do it, no one's going to do it. You would be surprised that we don't have a lot of leaders. I wish we did. I wish we had more leaders, but we don't. And being a leader sometimes is hard and lonely because you're out there, you're out in front, and you're doing things that sometimes very few people do. But it's great. I mean, I enjoy it. It's what I think about before I go to bed, and it's what I'm thinking about when when I get up in the morning. PE
we
is
appreciate
a great
your service
job.
to our community.
Yeah, 100%. Like
We love it.
it was a blast seeing you present and meeting you, and seeing what you post on Twitter and seeing what's going on in the physical education world, the things that you're doing for it. I think you're 100% right. I think we need to do a better job as physical education teachers at getting out there and proving what we're doing and advocating for ourselves. And I think that there are a lot who aren't, and it's kind of becomes our job for those of us who are advocating more for it in a quality physical education program to kind of turn them in the right direction and kind of help and push. So
it's so easy. It's so easy to lay low. And unfortunately, we don't have the administrators that are willing to push our physical education brethren to do what's best for kids.
Yeah, and hopefully we can get there.
Yeah.
Can you talk real quick? We're running out of time, but can you talk about the Great Activities Publishing Company, like what that is?
Well, I wrote so.
So you might not be able to talk real quick about it, but
okay. So when I was teaching elementary PE, on my third year teaching elementary PE, I came up with this idea for a magazine, a national magazine, and this was in 1982. And so it's been surviving. Yeah, it's been surviving for a long time. So we still have subscribers, and we have about 1,000 readers. It's published every other month, bi-monthly, and it's fun because we take submissions from folks all across the United States. If y'all have a game or activity or a strategy that works, just submit it. We'll add graphics and we'll publish it. Simple as that.
Cool.
Pretty sweet. Hey, before we leave, all season long we've been trying to ask one common question, and that one common question is to tell us the funniest thing that's happened in your career. Maybe it's at a presentation, maybe it's in class, maybe it was just something you've done phys ed related, but you want to tell us the funny story that you had that's like your go-to party story that you just got to get out there.
I don't know a funny story, but I know a person. His name is Larry McDonald. He goes by Mac, that can tell 1,000 funny stories, funny jokes. And Mac and I used to work together. Now he's living down in Florida. We probably talk at least once a week. And the first thing he does, he tells me a funny story. I mean, that's okay. So here's one that he told me recently. It's not so bad, but do you know why cowboys always have those little wiener dogs as pets?
Why's that?
No, but I'd like to know. Yeah.
It's because we all know cowboys need to get along, little doggy. Hey, I know it's bad. Hey,
I love dad jokes are my favorite.
You could tell it to kids and it'd be all right.
Dad jokes are my favorite. In fact, my favorite one, and I know it's like seems like every episode now somebody tells their funny story and then I tell a funny story. But I love the dad joke game. Like I love telling stupid, funny little dad jokes where the kids in my class just look at me and they pretend it's not funny. But I know when they go home, they're like, oh man, that was good. But every time, and it's kind of maybe my way of making sure that, students are okay in my class and they're safe. Yeah. But anytime somebody falls or trips, I always ask them two questions. I always say, hey, did you have a nice trip? And they'll chuckle, when they're like, yeah, I'm okay. And then I'll tell them, okay, well, we'll see you next fall. So those are my two dad jokes, and it seems to get their mind off of the fact that they just fell and whatever. So,
hey, if it works, it works.
It works. Artie, you made it to the end of the episode. Now what we like to do is we're going to play some cheesy exit talk show music. And while that music is playing, if you could tell everybody how we can get a hold of you. So a website, your Twitter handle, etc. So here we go.
So all you need to do is Google, not gaggle, Artie Kamiya. Artie Kamiya, Kamiya, or Great Activities Newspaper, or the National PE and School Sport Institute, or call my cell, 919-818-6486.
Awesome.
How about that?
Nice. Thank you, Artie.
Thank you. Y'all have a great day, and thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely.
Happy Halloween.
Our pleasure. Happy Halloween, everybody. Have a safe one. Thanks for joining us.